Everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic.com back again with another exciting news video. Check out our news video earlier on today on this very channel if you want to catch up with all of the previous headlines, but we've got a whole new batch of headlines to run through right about now. So, without any further ado, let's get a look at them now. First of all, Impact Wrestling poked fun at AJ Styles last night in pretty over-the-top fashion. Next up, an AEW star has revealed that WWE reached out to him the day he debuted with All Elite. And finally, another WWE Superstar has revealed that he once pitched a very bizarre video game-inspired gimmick. So yes, first of all, let's head to Impact Wrestling, because last night, obviously, it was their weekly edition of Impact, and yeah, pretty controversial stuff. So this whole situation came about because of the feud between the North and the Good Brothers. The North are former tag team champions, the Good Brothers are current tag team champions over in Impact. And basically what the situation was on Impact was that the North would receive tag team title shots, or a tag team title shot I suppose, if one of their members, Ethan Page, could beat a hand-picked opponent, apparently a friend of the Good Brothers, chosen by the champs. Now, before this opponent made their appearance, it was teased as a phenomenal opponent, the implication very much being, obviously, that it would be AJ Styles, but again, obviously, that was so unlikely to happen, partly because WWE are still very much using AJ Styles on a regular basis, and there is no indication that he left his contract somehow and signed with Impact in that very short gap between Monday Night Raw and Impact on Tuesday. I don't even know if that's possible with all the 90-day no-compete stuff and all the other legal ramifications that would surely crop up if such a drastic situation occurred. But basically what happened was a different opponent showed up to AJ Styles' old Impact theme music, wearing the hood and doing the entrance and everything. And it was Swoggle. Swoggle's been getting everywhere recently, to be fair to him. He's been cropping up all over the place. Not only was he on Dynamite last week on AEW going to Vegas with the Inner Circle, this week he's showing up pretending to be AJ Styles on Impact Wrestling. Yeah. I don't know if Impact would have really done this if there was a live crowd in attendance, because, I mean, I feel as though the joke wouldn't have gone over well. That's just my own personal opinion, but you know, AJ Styles is one of the most influential and most popular stars in the history of Impact, or TNA, or whatever you want to call it, and him showing up, but for it to be revealed as Hornswoggle, I think a live crowd would have crapped all over it, to be honest. But there's good news, because Swoggle got the win, rolling up a distracted Ethan Page, thereby burying not only one of your most legitimate and dangerous tag teams as they are pushing for another title shot, but also making a mockery out of the entire situation and making your champs, the Good Brothers, look like idiots as well. Cruel idiots for teasing the crowd. Look, I'll be honest with you, right? I really wasn't a fan of this booking decision. This does seem like something that would happen either right at the start of Impact's life back in the early to mid 2000s, where they were constantly taking shots at WWE, and it really formed their whole identity for a while, or a large part of their whole identity, I should say, because they had things as well, they had X Division and stuff, but later on as well, in sort of 2010, 2011, when Hogan got involved, and again they wanted to kickstart the Monday Night Wars, that again brought back a lot of shots at WWE and a lot of silly ideas like this one, really. I think Russo was involved around then, coincidentally. So yeah, a strange one on Impact last night. It might get attention though. It might go viral, or it might spark, you know, something. So I guess fair play to them for giving it a go. No idea how AJ Styles feels about the situation. Obviously he and Gallows and Anderson are very good friends all together in real life. So maybe he'd be fine with it. Maybe he gave them his blessing. Maybe they just went with it and decided to ask for forgiveness later rather than permission at the time. I don't know. I wonder if any more will be said about this. I wish AJ still could do Twitch, because I'm sure he'd tell us. Next up, let's go briefly to AEW and talk about a star there who claims, in a recent interview with Chris Van Vliet, that he was approached by WWE the day of his AEW debut. The wrestler in question is none other than absolute Ricky Starks, who is really one of the brightest young stars on the AEW roster. I mean, obviously he's now affiliated with Team Taz alongside Brian Cage and more recently Will Hobbs. And he's got really good chemistry in the ring with the likes of Darby Allin, some of the smaller, quicker guys. Also with Cody, he's just generally quite a good all-rounder with a slight kind of high-flying or fast-paced edge to him. He's also great on the mic. I think he's really one of the guys alongside the likes of MJF, Jungle Boy, those sort of younger guys who we can really look at when AEW talk about their future. But Starks revealed that WWE contacted him on the day of his AEW debut, and if I'm not wrong, I believe he debuted as part of Cody's TNT Champion Open Challenge kind of thing. Well, according to Starks, that is the day that WWE contacted him, saying the funny thing is, the day that I wrestled Cody, oh there it is, the day that I wrestled Cody, I should have read ahead before, yeah. The day that I wrestled Cody, I got a phone call from WWE saying, hey, we've been watching you and we wanted to bring you in. I said, oh really? Interesting, of all days. And so I entertained that conversation because I was curious, but I think I knew already which decision I was going to make. He goes on to say, and I had a very dear, great friend tell me once, you should look at the people who want to invest in you and not know anything about you, as opposed to the people who only wanted you when they saw someone else having interest. So that puts things, he finishes, in my perspective, and I don't hold any ill will towards WWE, but I really think they dropped the ball majorly on that. I never know why, and I guess I don't care now. But we have recently seen, haven't we, this sort of heated competition between WWE and AEW, at least if, different news sources are to be believed, over various different free agents in the wrestling world. I mean, AEW have moved pretty quickly to snap up Top Flight, for example. WWE, I remember, nabbed Mercedes Martinez for the NXT brand. We had the whole Thunder Rosa situation. I guess we still don't know where she's going to end up, but everyone seems interested in her. And now Ricky Starks has revealed this. Yeah, it's very interesting. I feel as though there's a lot of credence in what he says, the whole thing about WWE were only interested in him once someone else was paying attention, so he decided to go with the ones who originally showed him interest. That seems like a fair decision. Also, I feel as though when you're a younger wrestler, with AEW, it seems, at least generally, not for every specific case, but it seems generally like in AEW, they're more willing to let you be you and to kind of go your own way with things a little bit and get a little bit of a spotlight. Whereas in WWE, he'd be in the Performance Center for a while, then on NXT losing matches, and the process there. So if he wants to take a risk and go with the WWE side of things, maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. But if he wants to get an immediate kind of, impact, maybe going to AEW was the right thing. I don't know, that's just my opinion, but I guess it just depends on a case-by-case basis. We also need to talk about this story, right? I don't know where to start with this, but it's from Murphy, or Buddy Murphy as he was formerly known, his appearance on After the Bell podcast. So basically, Murphy once pitched a very strange video game inspired gimmick back in his NXT days. Because as you might remember, Murphy of course was once one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions alongside Wesley Blake. Alexa Bliss was involved as their manager as well. They were your kind of heelish tag team who could also work, but you didn't like them. You didn't bloody want them to win, did you? Well, they could have been even more hated if Murphy's idea had gone through, because he said on the After the Bell podcast, we had this concept of this invisible paint. When a black light would hit, you'd see the full design. And I had a pitch because Sin Cara was kind of doing lights at that point. Remember, Sin Cara would wrestle with the lights down for a while. It didn't quite work. So the idea I pitched was like where Mario gets the star and he does the, and then he kind of went, he did the noise. Oh no, that's the wrong noise. That's the mushroom noise. He did the if you know played Mario, then I don't know what to say. Murphy goes on to say, so the idea was, right, no, I will explain it for anybody who's never played Mario, right? Okay, basically when you get a star in Mario, you're invincible, you can't get hurt by anything, you can run through all the enemies, right? It's like a hot tag. I see what he's doing here, but I mean, it's mad, isn't it? So Murphy goes on to say, the idea was when we get the hot tag, the lights change. There'll be a black light and you'd see us in neon paint and we'd become like Superman. There was nothing stopping us. Then when we got cut off, the lights would change and then they wouldn't have the star power anymore or whatever. He goes on to say it was a very cinematic kind of thing, but I thought it would be really cool, but it never made it. Right, no, personally, I mean, obviously I'm being very cynical straight away. I think that sounds like something out of, like a comedy match somewhere, like in Attack Pro here in the UK, for example, like something quite ludicrous. But, maybe it'd work. No, but in all seriousness, I am interested to see what people think of that idea in the comments section down below, because it's a very off-the-wall one. And sometimes ideas pan out differently in person to how you'd imagine them on paper, and I understand that. But I can't see this one going over well had it been allowed, right? Especially in the early days of NXT when everything was work rate heavy and everyone was loving it. Everyone was just loving life and taking it very seriously as well. And then suddenly this lad comes along with his tag partner and his paint. I don't know what to make of it. And finally, WWE is apparently trying to gain the trademark rights to the Dean Ambrose name. On October 8th, WWE filed a trademark with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. This application was then entered into the database on November 23rd, and WWE apparently wants the trademark for entertainment services, wrestling exhibitions and performances by a professional wrestler. Apparently WWE did used to have the trademark rights, which is unsurprising because Dean Ambrose was part of WWE, but they cancelled it this past August because he's been gone for a while now, hasn't he? He's been in AEW, being their champion and whatever. At the time, WWE was apparently given a time period to renew the trademark, but decided against doing so. But now they are trying to trademark it once again. So this is really strange, and I don't know why. I don't know how that works in terms of, does this count towards video games and that sort of thing? Do they want him to be a downloadable character in? I can't imagine why they would, because he's representing another company now, isn't he? I don't know. Do they want to just make sure that AEW don't try and give him the Dean Ambrose name back? He seems quite happy as Jon Moxley anyway, but I guess if you total up all the wrestling fans in the world, more of them are going to have heard of Dean Ambrose than are going to heard of Jon Moxley. So maybe I understand it from that point of view as well. Maybe they fear the idea of AEW using the Dean Ambrose name to get more attention. Also, maybe another idea is that, hey, perhaps they're going to be running a gimmick where Swoggle comes out dressed as Dean Ambrose and wins a match by roll-up, but, you know what, that would actually be quite good. I can't say that. I can't be like, when Impact did it, it was rubbish, but if WWE did it, I'd be all for that one. Anyway, why do you think it is? If anyone knows more about US trademark law than I do, please do give your best shot in the comment section down below. And in fact, that's the end of the video, so let me know your opinions on any of these stories in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from Cultaholic.com. Make sure you stay safe out there, stay positive, and I'll see you very soon.